Right, guys, welcome back to another video. We are going to do the semi-final best 11, so of the four teams, Denmark, England, Spain, Italy. We're going to pick a team of 11. Like I said, we've done it before. We've done it for the group stages, we did it for the last 16, we did it for the quarterfinals, and now we're doing it for the semi-finals. I don't know if you guys want to see a video from the final, like the best team from the final when it happens. We'll see. But yeah, the four teams, I've tried to go for individual performances, obviously. I'm not the sort of person to go for, oh, well, that team won, so that means they must have been much better and they have the most players. Right, I think the most convincing performance of the whole night over the whole 120 minutes of both games, so 240 minutes, I thought the best team, just England, just. I think the extra time part just put our noses in front of everyone else. The game as a whole, I think Denmark played brilliantly, obviously. And the other game, Spain, Italy, I think in 120 minutes, I thought Spain was the better team. I think a lot of people probably forget about, because the game's won, right? The game's finished, the game's won by Italy. I think a lot of people forget about how many chances Spain actually created and how many potential goals they could have scored. Oyarzabal was the main culprit. It seems like ever since game one of the tournament for Spain, there's been a culprit of someone who's missing chances or missed chances. And on the semi-final, like I said, was Oyarzabal. In the first half, Pedri played him through with a ridiculous through ball. Pedri's such a player. He was fantastic on the night. He splits the Italian defence with one pass, and Oyarzabal gets I might not be able to remember it, but Oyarzabal miscontrols the ball and it ends up behind him. Whereas if he's playing for Real Sociedad, he's that good. Usually, he just controls that without even looking at it and just chips the goalkeeper. I think Spain missed a lot of composure from the front three players, whoever they were. Like I said, I thought Dani Olmo was absolutely brilliant all night as well, until he went out onto the left when Morata came on. Oh no, sorry, until he went behind. Went behind Morata. Moreno went onto the right. Yeah, I honestly think Spain were the better team. Not that Italy played badly. I just thought Spain were the better team. I think and there was another chance from Oyarzabal as well, where I think it was Koke. He lifted the ball back into the box and he came in from the right hand side and he sort of tried to glance the header and he missed the ball and it went just straight out. Again, if he finishes that, I think at the time it would have made it 1-1. A bit earlier, as it happened, Spain scored a fantastic goal with Morata and I think it was Olmo, wasn't it? Olmo and Morata opened up the Italian defence. Fantastic goal. That was probably the best moment of the match. It was one of the best goals of the tournament, I would say. So to the team, because I'll stop waffling about the thing. I just wanted to sort of give you an overview of who I've chosen, why I've chosen them. I'm choosing it literally on an individual performance, not which team won, which team. The individual players in those positions. That's what I've gone with. So right, this is the team, and obviously, as always, we'll go through them each one by one and why I've decided to include them all of them in the team. So here we go. There it is. Right, I'm going Kasper Schmeichel in the net. I think that's pretty obvious. Out of the four goalkeepers, I think he was the best one. That's as simple as I'm doing it. Out of the four goalkeepers, he was the best one. Pickford was a little bit rash at times. Got beat by a good free kick. But Schmeichel got beat by an own goal and a penalty that he actually saved. He had a few good saves in the match. I just thought he was the best goalkeeper out of the four. I suppose. I think that's as simple as it is. I think the second best goalkeeper was probably Donnarumma. He had more to do than Simon. But yeah, Schmeichel was the best goalkeeper out of the four, in my opinion. Right back, Kyle Walker. I don't think that's a surprise. Kyle Walker was absolutely ridiculous all game. He had a bit of a wobble against Ukraine in the first half, a few sloppy passes, but how good was he against Denmark? Even in like extra time, he's just the energy, man. He was just carrying the ball, just constantly stopping attacks for his pace. I just thought it was brilliant. I really, really did. Okay, so the other English guy in the defence I've got is John Stones. Now, the last time I put Harry Maguire in, and I could have easily put Maguire in now, and I think a lot of people will probably disagree and say Maguire should be in now, but I think Stones has gone underrated in the tournament. I do. I think a lot of people are speaking about Harry Maguire, and rightfully so, all the England defence. But he doesn't seem to be getting mentioned, and I think because he's a fellow Barnsley guy, I've got to give him some attention because he doesn't seem to be getting it. After the couple of years he's had, sort of falling out of favour in the Man City team, England team, he's come back in and he's been colossal. Like I said, I could have put all the England back for him, but obviously I can't do that because it's very biased. So I'm going to put John Stones in with a slight bit of bias, just because, like I said, I don't think he's getting as much attention as he should be getting of how brilliant he's been. So yeah, next in Bernouchi. Bernouchi was opened up once by Morata and Olmo for that goal. But apart from that, Bernouchi's just a leader. You can constantly see him screaming and shouting to his players. He's just a colossal. He just is. That's what he is. What he doesn't know about defending isn't worth knowing. And he's been the mainstay in that Italian team, and they're in the final. And I just thought it was fantastic. Like they were Spain had the ball for like 71% of the match, 71% of the match. So that means Bernouchi's having to defend for 70% of the match, right? That's as simple as how it works. If Italy have got the ball, he doesn't really have to defend as much. If Spain have the ball, he does. So 70% of the time, Bernouchi had to defend. Whether the ball's miles away from him and he has to make sure his defence is in line with him, or push out, or drop in, or whatever, whether he has to go tight, he couldn't get to grips with Olmo at the start of the game. There was 10 minutes at the start of the game when he couldn't get to grips with Olmo. He didn't want to go as far as Olmo wanted to take him. Olmo was taking him quite deep. So what Bernouchi decided to start doing is shout Jorginho and tell him to mark him when he went in. Now that did leave Busquets free, but I think if Busquets has the ball, it is dangerous, but it's less dangerous being that far back than it is Olmo having the ball and turning. So what he decided to do, he decided the best out of the two options is let Jorginho take him, shout him, and then he can take him rather than having to like go all the way out and then get exploited in the back line with Chiellini on himself effectively. So he made a smart decision. It's not a decision where there's a great answer. If a striker's playing the false nine role well, it's not a good time as a centre-back. You have to make that decision. And he made it early, and whether it was right or wrong, it turned out to be right. Clearly they won. You have to make it early. You can't be in a no man's land of, oh, I'll do it, then you do it, then I'll do it. No, someone has to do it every time. And he quickly decided that Jorginho was going to do that. And I think it was the right decision. Right. Left back, I've put Di Lorenzo. Now, he's obviously plays right back for Italy. I don't think Emerson deserved a place in the team. If I would have put Luke Shaw in, it would have looked very high bias, even though Luke Shaw was great again. But I thought Di Lorenzo went in about his job quite unassuming, and he didn't really give Jordi Alba too much. Now, I'm saying Jordi Alba because Jordi Alba likes to play left forward, doesn't he? Let's be honest, he does. And then, who started on the left now? Ferran Torres. The Spanish wide players like to come central. So usually when you play against Spain, it's fullback against fullback. And I thought Di Lorenzo was, since he's come in, because he came in from Florenzi after the first game when he got a bad injury. And I just think he's done his job brilliantly. He's a quite athletic dude. He's powerful. He's not a fullback that will get you off your seat. Not that he's not good going forward either, but he's just an Italian defender, isn't he? And I just thought he had a lot of control down that wing. Jordi Alba's a tough customer. He's a tough customer. And he didn't get in behind him much. A lot of Spain's play was down the middle or down the right-hand side, not really down the left. And I think that takes a lot to stop Jordi Alba having a massive influence on a game, because he's just hard to handle. It really is. Even at his age now, the runs he makes in behind week in, week out for Barcelona are really tough. And in this tournament, so I thought Di Lorenzo was really good at that, stopping that. Right, central midfielders, Højbjerg and Pedri. I think Højbjerg's been fantastic all tournament. I think he could potentially be one of the best players in the tournament all the way through. I think he's been that good. Him and Delaney have been fantastic. But I put Højbjerg in because I thought there was a period where he was nicking the ball from our midfielders on a regular basis and setting up attacks. He did it more than anyone on the pitch and more than anyone in the four teams in the 2 games. I thought Højbjerg was the best midfielder. Obviously I do because I put him in the team, but I think him and Pedri were the best 2 midfielders of the semi-finals. It might sound a bit backwards because it might be like Lewis. Both those teams lost, but like I said, I'm doing it individually. Now, if Højbjerg would have had help. Would have had the help of his teammates, they would have probably gone through. If Pedri would have had more help from his teammates because he was really good, they would have gone through. So it's not a case of just picking 5 or 6 Italians and 5 or 6 English people. It's not the case of that. I thought Højbjerg was fantastic, and I thought Pedri was fantastic. Pedri is an absolute whiz. He is going to be one of the best midfielders of this generation. He's covered the most distance, and from an attacking midfielder, you think that's not that impressive because he's going to be running forwards to get in advanced areas. But the pressing that guy does, the fact that he's playing 120 minutes at 18, 19 years old, and he's played every single match. And he also as well, he scored an own goal. Now I know it's Simon's fault for the majority for the own goal that he scored. But Pedri should know better than to pass it within the width of his post and give the goalkeeper a bouncing ball. So he should take some of the blame from that. But the fact that both Simon and Pedri bounced back from those from that era, from that situation, is just a testament to both of them, really. And like I said, Pedri created so many chances, even chances before the chance started. The pre-assists. Again, if better finishing, and Pedri probably would have the most assists in the tournament. And I think players like Pedri get plaudits when the strikers finish the chances, right? But I think you should equally give them plaudits when the strikers don't finish the chances, because once the midfielder's played that pass, it's no longer up to him. It's no longer his problem if the striker misses. I still think they should get as much credit as if the striker scored or striker misses, right? Just because it doesn't go down as an assist, he still should get the plaudits for the passes and the runs and all that stuff that he does. So for me, them 2 are the best players. I thought they were both fantastic in both games. I do. I don't think Declan Rice or Calvin Phillips was any better than those 2. I think they worked hard, but I think all round I don't think they was as good as those 2. I think it was a massive, massive drop in quality when Højbjerg went off. And Delaney, but when I think Højbjerg went off, I'm pretty sure he did, because Jensen and Norgard came on, didn't they? But Delaney went off first, and when those 2 went off, Delaney and Højbjerg, the drop in quality was huge, and we just dominated. And if we wouldn't have got the penalty, I think we would have scored anyway. They were so tired. It was just attack after attack. But yeah, those 2 midfields for me. Right, Chiesa, I think that's pretty obvious as well. Chiesa on the right. Scored the goal again. Didn't really do too much in the first half especially, but popped up with a goal. And then I think his energy, he's helping out. Again, him and Di Lorenzo on the right-hand side. I know I've put Di Lorenzo on the left here, but that's just because I had Kyle Walker there. I could probably just switch him over. I thought both right-backs, Kyle Walker and Di Lorenzo, were fantastic, so they've both just gone in there. And I had to pick one at left back. So yeah, Di Lorenzo and Chiesa on that right wing. Again, like I said, you can't just... I spoke earlier in the video about Di Lorenzo shutting down Alba, just stopping that flank of play, that weapon that Spain have, right? They know that if they push their left-hand side players, like left central midfielder in Pedri and their left winger in Torres or Olmo, whoever was playing there in the tournament, if they push those inside, there's a massive channel for Alba to just dominate. Now, both those guys, Chiesa and Di Lorenzo, did not let him do that. And you can't just do that alone. You have to do that together. So Chiesa worked well with Di Lorenzo doing that. Now, there's a lot of defensive work for the Italians, and they did it fantastically. But Chiesa's an outlet as well in the attack, and I thought it was brilliant. Since he's come into the team, I think he's been one of the best players in the tournament. I don't think he's got a shout for the best player of the tournament, because I don't think he's played enough, and I don't think he's been effective for long enough in games. But I think that's more Italy's fault than Chiesa's fault. So for that reason, I don't think he's one of the players of the tournament. So I don't think he could as a shout for the player of the tournament. I think he's one of. the players, but I think he should miss out. I think he's probably top 10 players, but not top 5 if you want if you want me to put a number on it. Sterling, alternatively, I think he's been fantastic all tournament, and I think he should be the player of the tournament in my opinion. Every single game he's been the best player in the England shirt. I don't think there's been a game, I'm trying to remember, where he's not been our best player. I can't think of one. Germany, he was the best. Ukraine, maybe Harry Kane was the best, but again, Sterling will set him up for the first goal. Against Denmark, Sterling was the best. Again, Harry Kane was good, but Sterling was best. In the group stages, the first game against Croatia, Sterling was the best. I suppose no one was the best against Scotland. We were very poor. I think the occasion got to us slightly. And against Czech Republic, I think Sterling was the best as well. So I think consistently he's been the best player. But this is only the semi-final best XI, and I think he was fantastic again. I think the fact that Gareth Southgate took off Jack Grealish over Sterling when Sterling had been on the pitch for, how long? Over 100 minutes? Says a lot. How the engine on Raheem Sterling, even in the 120th minute, he was getting in behind defenders and getting shots off, and he wasn't slowing down. I've just never seen a player in a tournament with as much energy and stamina as that. I was shocked. I was sat there like, what? Has this guy just come on? But yeah, like Southgate said after the game, it was either he takes off Foden or Grealish. He didn't even think about taking off Sterling. He didn't even think about it. And I think that says a lot. I don't think anyone can disagree. I know he's going to get a lot of stick for the dive, but it's a soft penalty, I agree. Just to touch on it again slightly. But he gets 2 forms of contact in the box. Now, you tell me a player in the world of football that doesn't get 2 forms of contact in the box that won't go down, because they know if they don't go down, they don't get the penalty. It's been blown up into this massive thing, but it happens every single week all around the world. It wasn't a worse dive than anywhere around the world, but because it's England in a big game under a microscope of everyone watching it, it's been blown up into this thing that's way worse. Look at Immobile. Immobile dove inside the box, and then he got up when Barella scored. That was worse than what Sterling did, tenfold. It was more embarrassing than what Sterling did, but it sort of got brushed under the carpet. Anyway, let's stop talking about it. Danny Olmo up front with Harry Kane. Danny Olmo started up front. It was a move that was quite surprising to many. Danny Olmo was just brilliant. He actually became less effective when he went into his more natural position. Olmo looked very natural at striker. He was getting in those spaces, like I said in the video before when I was talking about Bernouchi. He was getting the spaces in front of Bernouchi and Chiellini, but behind Jorginho, and he was testing the boundaries. You could see him doing it in the first half. He was testing the boundaries of, because Italy liked to play pressing possession football like Spain, it was always going to be a battle of which players could move into the areas to provide options for that team to create the most possession. So the Spanish midfield and strikers, and they did the better job at that, hence why they had 71% possession. Now, Italy defended better than Spain, hence why they won the game, right? If Italy would have had 71% of possession of the game, Italy would have probably won 2 or 3-1, because Italy are better defensively. But Spain have got that question mark on them taking chances. Now, if Spain had taken all their chances, and Italy would have taken all their chances, the game would have been like 4-1, right? It was always going to be a matter of Spain taking their chances. If they did, they would have won the game, like I thought they would have. I said that beforehand. If they didn't, they lost. And that's their own fault. So, Danny Olmo was brilliant. He just kept coming deep, kept giving options, and he kept making Jorginho come away from the midfield battle and mark the striker. So that's what he was doing. Because Olmo was making like a diamond in midfield. That's what he was doing. It was becoming the tip of the diamond. Like you used to see Messi under Guardiola. That's what he was doing. It was making Jorginho think what to do. And like I said, Bernouchi made that decision early, and he said, you know what, Jorginho, you're going to have to go and do that, mate. I'm not doing it. I'm not stepping out of there. It's too dangerous in the semi-final. And Olmo was just brilliant at doing it. And I thought it was probably the best player for Spain, obviously alongside Pedri. I think he was probably slightly better than Pedri, all in all. And then Harry Kane up front. I think Harry Kane was just brilliant all night. Absolutely fantastic. Winning free kicks, drawing them from people He was running channels. He was keeping the ball. He was coming back and helping the play. He set up, like I said, the pre-assist. He set up the goal basically. The through ball to Saka, and then Saka put it across for the own goal. He scored the penalty. Yes, he missed the penalty, but he scored the rebound. And I just think he was brilliant all night. It was probably better in this game than he was against Ukraine because of the level of opposition. And I hope he obviously has another good game in the final. It's going to be a good one. Let me know, you guys, in the chat. I'm used to streaming, sorry. Let me know in the comments, you guys, what you think about the team. I'm sure a lot of people probably watch this that probably don't like England, maybe. So they're probably like, oh, this guy shouldn't be in, this guy. All right, fair enough, that's fine. But if you're going to give me a comment, please give it constructively, because I want a football conversation in this channel. I don't want a biased conversation. So I'm trying not to be myself. It could look like it because I've got 4 Englishmen in, but I thought over the 4 teams of the 2 games, I thought England were the best team, performance-wise. I do. I thought we were brilliant. I thought for us to do that well against Denmark, especially after extra time, I think it was the extra time period that pipped it for me. I thought that's what made us the best team. I thought we were brilliant, especially in the last 10 minutes when we were just keeping the ball. I thought we were the best team in the whole semi-final. So yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think and what your team would be. Always put your team in. If you want to create your own, go to create formation. Just type into Google create formation and click the top one, and that's how you get this. And then put your team in. Put a link to the team if you want, and I'll have a click and I'll have a look and I'll comment. I'll get back to you and I'll see what you guys think. Honestly, get involved. Get involved. This channel is for all of us, not just me, right? You want to have your say as well. Put it in the comments. 22 minutes long. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to ramble on for so long. Yeah, like the video, please, if you would. Please do. And subscribe to the channel. That would help out a lot. And until next time, which will probably be in a couple of days, as always. I don't like to leave the videos for 3 or 4 days. Until next time, thank you for watching. Goodbye.